We are set for tonight's main event here in Las Vegas. Friday Night Fights presents the IBF Featherweight Championship. Mbulelo Botile of South Africa with 27 wins and 16 knockouts defends his crown. The 28-year-old is a former bantamweight champion, and now he makes the first defense of his IBF Featherweight crown. He won that title on December the 16th in England, taking on the champion Paul Ingle. It was a brutal fight, hardly contested, but Botile was too strong. And in round number 11, his power really started to show. Ingle was on a constant retreat, and Botile continued to attack, and the champion was down. We take you to round number 12, and again, Botile, sensing victory, went right after Ingle, and he kept pounding him with hard lefts and right hands. And the champion went down and did not get up. Botile had achieved his dream of winning the featherweight championship. Unfortunately for the South African, there was little chance to celebrate because Ingle remained down. Paul Ingle went into a coma, and he had to be hospitalized. Fortunately, the blood clot has been cleared up, and Paul Ingle is making a recovery, and Botile is grateful for that. Frankie Toledo took a direct flight from Newark Airport in New Jersey, and with 39 wins, he hopes to win his first world championship. We saw him here on Friday Night Fights in September of 1999 at the Blue Horizon. Fought one of the best fights of his career as he took on former world champion Orlando Canizales. It was a split decision victory, but Frankie Toledo was back on top. He's taken on all challengers, and by his own admission, he was overweight and not focused for his fight against Manuel Medina. He knows tonight Botile will attack the body, and he is ready for anything the champion has to offer. Dave Moretti of Las Vegas, Pat Russell of Las Mesas, California, and Robert Bird of Los Angeles are the three referees for tonight's main event. We asked Botile about having the killer instinct. He said, "I cannot let the Ingle thing affect me, but I never want to hurt anybody badly." It was very tough for him. He says he's never been able to celebrate and enjoy and rejoice this championship that he holds, but he is determined to keep it tonight. 22 feet by 22 feet inside the ropes. Round number 1 underway.
That's a big ring, and that should help the challenger, who likes to use his legs, Frankie Toledo. Styles make fights. Styles make title fights. Styles make world champions. Styles will dictate this fight. The style of Toledo, southpaw, likes to move in and out. Not a big puncher. Botile likes to put pressure.
You see the knockout ratio for the two. When we showed you the last five of Botile, that fight against Hector Lizarraga was here on Friday Night Fights in November of 1999. I added a draw. Became a majority decision for Botile.
Botile's the kind of temperament, the kind of style that usually warms up as the fight goes on. He can be a slow start. Toledo wants to get off and get out, Bob, but he has to be careful. The same thing that was the downfall in our heavyweight fight with Mahone. Don't go straight back.
Chronicled Botile's long journey. He's been here for about 12 days now. Says he's fine, he's acclimated.
Would not be unusual for Botile to give up the first couple rounds and look to come on late. I think this fight might come down to that kind of fight where Toledo could get out in front because of his style, maybe, and then have to be able to keep it together coming down the stretch with a fast closing, strong Botile. Botile doesn't want to leave himself wide open because he knows the style of Toledo. Toledo's not a big puncher, but he's looking to counter. So Botile don't want to walk into that trap, trying to get his distance, trying to get in position. Right now, Botile's following Toledo around a little bit, needs to cut the ring down.
Toledo spent a couple of weeks in Puerto Rico, getting some heavy-duty road work in preparation for this fight. Says he didn't watch a lot of tape of Botile because he says, well, what if the guy changes a little bit? I don't want to be programmed into one style.
Toledo wants to be on the outside. He's not quite as strong as Botile. And he has the faster hands. He wants distance to use that hand speed and then navigate himself around Botile to the side, where he keeps Botile turning, so Botile cannot be set to punch.
Feeling out process in this first round. Frankie Toledo, Mbulelo Botile for the IBF featherweight crown. A couple of weeks ago here on Friday Night Fights, Clarence Bones Adams defended his WBA super bantamweight title with a tough 12-round win against Ivan Alvarez. And with Paulie Ayala winning last week, although controversial, a win is a win. Sets up a big fight for Ayala and Bones Adams down the line. And of course, as you, Brian and Max talked about earlier, with Prince fighting tomorrow night, obviously that's the payday that everybody wants to get a taste of.
He's the same way as Tyson used to be, and still is to some point in the heavyweight division. Everybody wanted that Tyson fight, the man they could make the money with. That's Prince. In Styles, Toledo wants to be on the outside. He wants to counterpunch. He wants to move around the stronger Botile. And the cement-footed, a little bit, Botile. Botile needs to be set to punch. You can move around the man. Give him angles, like you hear all the time, Bob. Like that. You can keep Botile from being set. And then you can be effective. I think Toledo has to be careful of two things. One, not just moving without punching. He has to do something to make Botile respect him. Also, he can't stay there too long, Toledo. He's got to judge how much time he has. 2-3 punches out. Don't stay there too long. And he can't go straight back. Cannot go straight back, Mr. Toledo, if he wants to take that belt out of his ring.
Teddy, when do you think Botile is going to start that body attack that he likes to work on?
The sooner the better for him. You don't want to wait too long. You start going to the body late. Well, a fighter can survive that. It's when you go early, the effects build up. That's what the real benefits of body punching is, Bob. Going there early, wearing your guy down, paying dividends later in the fight. But Botile's a slow starter. We said that. But I don't know if he has his game plan set for that body quite enough. Slow starter or not, you make a good point. Botile hasn't looked like his intention early has been to that body. Toledo has pretty good wingspan with those arms. He has the faster hands, as I talked about. I think he should be using that jab a little more. But you can see Toledo has a good fight plan. When he was in the corner, we were eavesdropping. His corner gave him good advice. Keep turning Botile.
There's some body work. Toledo blocks it from Botile. Counter left hand over the top from Toledo. Welcome back to Las Vegas. Bob Papa, Teddy Atlas. Friday Night Fights presented by Miller High Life. Round number 3 underway. Mbulelo Botile, the IBF featherweight champion, defending his title against Frank Toledo. In the white, Toledo ranked 13th by the IBF. So far, Toledo's done a pretty good job of boxing and moving. We'll take a look at the numbers in round 2. In that second round, Toledo landed 14 of 42 jabs, 33%. Botile only 12% of his jabs.
Getting a little interesting here. Botile's getting a little closer. You know Toledo, even though he has his fight plan, to not mix it up too much with the stronger Botile. You know he's going to fight in spots. He's a gutsy kid. He wants to win that title. He has to watch the key word, the operative word, spots. Don't stay there too long.
And that's what his corner told him in between rounds 2 and 3. Box him some more. You've got him a bit confused. Don't stay in there.
That's the recipe for victory if you're in the corner of Frank Toledo. If he decides to throw 4 punches instead of 3, he can have a problem.
Now Botile sort of boring in and just letting punches go and backing up Toledo.
You have to have good judgment. How many punches do you have time for and get out? That was a good counter hook, right hook by Toledo, which can be the most effective punch for a southpaw. That right hook coming from a direction where the orthodox fighter is not used to seeing it.
Toledo got stopped by Marco Antonio Barrera back in 1995. It was a body shot that stopped him.
Very good point. Botile should be going to the body, and so far he's not. Could be missing the boat. Could be sorry. He leaves his title here. You heard Toledo mentioning in the pre-fight interview where he said, you know, I always worry about the decision of the judges, even if it's not in the fighter's hometown. This fight is controlled by the promoter of tonight's fight, Cedric Kushner. And you always worry about the influence the promoter can have. Vegas usually does a good job with officials. Toledo stayed there too long, Bob. Got caught with a good right hand by Botile. And he straightened up too much. I think what happened there was Toledo was throwing a left hand to the body, and he came up straight to throw it to the head. Botile, who has good eyes, timed him.
The thing you could say about round number 3, this has been a round, the first round so far in the fight, where Toledo has been on the retreat.
Well, you heard us talking about Toledo can't stay there too long. Well, our truck got it for you. You saw Toledo stayed there a little too long, throwing that left hand to the body, then up top, stood up a little bit. Botile timed him with a good right hand.
Best round of the fight for the champion Botile. Round number 4 underway. Take a look at the numbers from round number 3. Botile landed 24 of 58 power shots, 41%. And he was backing Toledo up most of that round. The corner of Botile in between rounds 3 and 4 wanted to throw some more punches, though. They felt that he's still not throwing enough.
Now here's the breakdown, in my little opinion, that I see. Toledo, 2 things he's got to be careful of. He's got to stay on the outside, throw quick punches, move to the side. He must not get caught going straight back. He must not stay inside too long. Now on the other side, the champion, Botile, he needs to use that jab to get in. Stop Toledo from pot-shotting. He needs to close the gap, cut the ring down. He needs to go to the body, Botile.
Well, you know, he had that success in round number 3, and that was the first round of the 3 rounds of the fight where Botile landed more jabs as well than Toledo.
Jab's very important. You don't have to be the faster guy. You don't have to be the guy with the better jab. But if you're fighting a guy who's moving, whose style is to counter like Toledo and fight on the outside, which Toledo's doing a good job. Gotta watch he doesn't go straight back. Well, if you're fighting that kind of guy, you must try to take his jab away with your jab. Otherwise, you make it easy for that fighter to use his best assets. Toledo looks like he's starting to get nicked up a little bit, Bob.
On the forehead, there's a mark. Under his right eye, there's a bit of swelling.
You know what it's going to come down to? The pressure of Botile. Can Toledo keep up? Or will he fade in the later rounds? That's what it's going to come down to. Because Botile tries to take a lot out of you with that pressure. And you know what? He's smart. He's not just a walk-in guy, Botile. He's a world champion. He has to be smart. Watch what he does, Bob. He gets into good position, and he looks to time you. Doesn't leave himself wide open. Watch. He's looking to time Toledo. He's looking to get in position, force Toledo to throw something, and looking to time him. Time him stepping out, or time him punching. That time, Toledo beat him to the punch.
For the most part, though, the theme in round 3 and the theme here in round 4, it's been Toledo being backed up a little by Botile.
He's starting to warm up a little, Botile.
It's set for the start of round number 5. Mbulelo Botile defending his IBF featherweight championship for the first time against Frankie the Shark Toledo. And in the last 2 rounds, Botile's done a better job of backing Toledo up. You just kind of get a feeling, Teddy, that Botile's strength is starting to show a little bit more. The corner of Botile with right hand to the inside there by the champion, wanting him to throw more punches.
For those young fighters watching at home, watch why Botile is a world champion. Not just a walking catcher. Watch how he walks in, steps in, and then looks to time. Toledo looks to punch with the right punches at the right time.
In each of the last 2 rounds, Botile has thrown more punches than Toledo. He's outlanded him.
We said it right from the top. It's not going to be enough for Toledo just to have this game plan and this style to move. He's going to have to punch with that move, with those moves. Otherwise, Botile will have nothing to stop him from walking down the challenger. There's a body shot. See, this is where, I notice on tape, where Toledo has to be careful as the rounds go on. We're getting into we're in the 5th round now. I noticed that sometimes when you put pressure on Toledo, he starts to lean forward a little bit, Bob. Look for it. See? Now, if he starts doing that, well, you're becoming a trainer. You know what he'll be open for. What will he be open for?
He's going to get tagged. Uppercut.
The uppercut.
Teddy's scorecard, 39-38 Toledo. I have it 2 rounds apiece, giving the last 2 rounds to the champion, Botile.
Watch as Botile gets close. Toledo may lean forward a little bit. Now it's up to Botile or his corner to see that. Again, Toledo lean forward. Botile's not seeing it right now. If he sees it, he can adjust. And instead of falling in, he can put the brakes on and put an uppercut on Toledo.
Tenny, for the 3rd consecutive round, though, Botile is backing up Toledo.
That uppercut's starting to work for Botile. Again, Botile sees it now.
Good body shot. There was an uppercut.
Oh, yeah, that uppercut's coming in pretty handy now for Botile. Toledo's leaning forward.
Botile just missed with the right hand. Here comes the strength of the champion.
You know, this is a tough situation for Toledo because he doesn't have the power to really put Botile in his place.
He's trying to trade with him. Could be dangerous.
Bottom right-hand corner. That uppercut started to become important for Botile. Right there, off the body shot, the right uppercut landed on Toledo. Why? Toledo's starting to lean forward, feeling the pressure.
Kenny Bayless got some ice out of Toledo's corner. They'll scrape it up, and on we go with round number 6. Botile and Toledo. Botile defending his IBF featherweight title. And for 3 consecutive rounds now, the champion, who's stronger, has been backing up the challenger Toledo. You take a look at the punch numbers in round number 5. Botile threw 115. 100 of those were power shots. He landed 45 of 100 power shots, according to CompuBox, in round number 5.
It is swelling to the eyes of Toledo.
Now Toledo getting back to what he did in rounds 1 and 2, where he had success.
He has to punch with that movement. Because if he doesn't punch, the aggressive champion will just walk him down.
Missed the counter right to the champion. Toledo was prepared for it.
Usually, Botile has to get a little closer to punch than Toledo does because of the styles. Toledo extends his punches a little bit more. Those quick punches, flash punches. So Toledo has to take advantage of that little fact. He's got to punch at the right time before Botile gets into that zone. Before Botile gets into the kitchen. In other words, Toledo needs to control the rhythm, the dynamics of the round. He's doing that this round so far, Bob.
There he triples up his jab.
Should use that jab more. It's a safe punch for Toledo. to punch where he has an edge. Anywhere you have an edge when you're trying to win a title, you better take advantage of it. That's what makes champions. Being opportunistic makes champions in the business world too. It's taking advantage of your opportunities. Taking advantage of your strengths. Using them. Botile has let up the pressure a little bit. Given an opportunity for Toledo to have a good round.
Yeah, he's pretty much allowed Toledo to just box in the round. Keep it outside. Toledo's used his jab. Sort of steadying the ship after a couple of rocky rounds for the challenger. There's the bell to end round number 6. The midway point of the fight will take you to the corner of Frankie Toledo.
Doing an excellent job. You're doing an excellent job. Listen, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. If you need motivation now and you're more than halfway through this fight and you're way ahead, then something is wrong. You know what you came here for. You know what you came here for. Damn right. Let's go. He's doing beautiful. Keep boxing him. Being sharp. In and out all day. And when he's ready to set, turn him right wrong. All right, baby, you hear me? You turn him every time he comes at you.
That is brother David, who is ranked 8th by the IBF.
You turn him, though. You're not really turning the way I want you. You're hesitating, and you're staying there a little too long. I want him turning. Every time you pop, make him go a different direction. Every time. Give me the mouthpiece. All right, let's go, let's go, let's go.
Joe Greer, the trainer, trying to get him fired up. Tell you, look at the CompuBox numbers. In round 5, Botile landed 45 of 100 power shots. And in round 6, he only threw 24 power shots, did the champion Botile, and he landed 6. So he didn't do a whole heck of a lot in that round.
Took off maybe, change your pace. Maybe trying to pace himself a little bit. Only a week ago, he came all the way from South Africa. Long trip. I usually like fighters to get to their destination when they're coming abroad. I like them to get there 2 weeks ahead of time to acclimate. That trip can take a lot out of you. A week is not enough sometimes to get acclimated.
This is about his 12th day in Las Vegas.
What's another very important element in the last round of Botile maybe taking a little rest and letting Toledo have a good round. The confidence point. Let the challenger, as you said, steady the ship. Get his confidence back a little bit. Very important for Toledo. Here's the pressure again. Botile took a round off, and now it looks like he's back to his old tricks. Stepping up that punch rate again. But watch Botile. He walks himself into good position. Very rarely does he throw from too far away. Even with a difficult style like Toledo, he gets himself in good, sound position. Hey, Toledo's fighting the right fight right here. He's punching before Botile can get close and getting out. He's throwing punches and bunches and moving.
Well, rounds 3, 4, and 5 were very good rounds for the champion Botile. Toledo had a very good round number 6.
You know what? I just see a little something in Toledo. He's feeling good right now. Doesn't mean he can't get caught, but he's feeling good right now. He's feeling confident. You can just see it. You can see it. He's growing with a little confidence here, Toledo. Sticking to his game plan. Sticking to what his trainer told him. Getting off and turning the stronger champion.
But it's almost a catch-22 because he starts to have that success, and the more he stays in there, that then plays into Botile's hands. He's got to be extremely disciplined, Toledo does.
Yes, he does, and he has to have known that coming into this fight. That's what's called a fight plan. Not get greedy. That's what you're talking about. Put those guys in the stock market. Get your money. Get out. Don't say, no, 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 I'm going to wait till it goes up to 50. No, no, no. Take your money. Get out.
Confidence from Frankie Toledo here in the 7th round against the champion Botile. Round number 8 underway. Frank Toledo of Patterson, New Jersey, the challenger for Mbulelo Botile's IBF Featherweight Championship. First title defense for Botile. And a couple of good rounds for Botile, but Toledo in the last couple of rounds has bounced back. And his plan has been working. You take a look at the punches through 7. Botile's been busier and more accurate. But the corner of Botile wants more from him. They want more punches.
Again, see that? That right hand by Botile. He's getting himself into good position, and he's looking at time Toledo as Toledo punches, hoping Toledo will leave it open. Be there a little too long. His technique, his strategy. It's not just two tough guys. Sweet science.
All right, we'll go to Frankie Toledo's corner, and we'll talk with his dad, Frankie Sr. Frank Bob Papa, Teddy Atlas. Last 2 rounds, Frankie's done a better job as far as being able to move, get in, and get out. You pleased with what you've seen so far?
Yes, that's game plan, you know. Hit him before he gets there, move. But this guy's a strong guy, you know, so.
Once you catch that, there you go, double that.
Hey, Frank, this is Teddy.
Yeah, Teddy.
He's got a good game plan. You guys did a good job. He's following it pretty good. I think the key is that he must not get caught up in only the movement. He must punch.
Punch, right, yeah. That's what we want him to punch and then get out of there.
That's right. He can't stay there too long.
Right.
But he's got to punch. He can't just move.
That's right. Out there, punch.
What's it like watching your son fight for a world championship?
It's great. Very good. I can say it was very, very good, very great. I just hope he comes home with the belt.
All right, best of luck, Frank.
Thanks.
Good luck.
Take care.
What about when Frankie switches to right-handed, Teddy?
He's feeling confident, number one. He better be careful he doesn't do it too close with the champion. He'll get caught in a switch, but he's feeling confident. So I think he's just trying to mix things up a little bit with the champion. He's feeling good about himself. He's not doing it out of desperation, put it that way. Little swelling under the right eye. We talked about it a few rounds ago, Bob. That corner's going to have to make sure they're using that end swell, because we still have enough rounds for that eye to affect the challenger.
Now Kenny Bayless will call a timeout.
That right eye doesn't look serious, though, but maybe a little abrasion. Doctor looking at it, says it's okay.
And we reset, final 10 seconds of round number 8. Again, Toledo feeling confident as he goes after the champion. Round 9 underway. Very close fight. Botile putting his punches together to start this 9th round. He's defending his IBF featherweight title against Frank Toledo.
This is a close fight and a good fight, an interesting fight. And this whole show has been a good, solid show.
Take a look at the punch numbers. Thrown throughout the fight. Punches thrown. Botile has thrown 126 more. But Toledo in certain rounds has boxed beautifully. Fairly close fight. Teddy, the one thing I've been surprised in this fight, and maybe Toledo's style is one of the reasons why, but I just don't see Botile with that body attack that he's known for. Not really digging into that body. And maybe some of it has to do with Toledo's movement.
And you would think, not a lot of excuses, a lot of tape exists on Toledo. You would think that Botile would know the style of Toledo. At least his trainers would. And would have come in here with a game plan that included going to the body, trying to take the legs away from the fleet-footed Toledo. The same way as Toledo knew the style, the aggressive style of Botile, and came in here with a game plan to use his legs. But you know what? Sometimes certain fighters, a lot of the experienced guys, they don't like to watch tape, Bob. What happens is, you know, it's a catch-22. Sometimes it could help them be prepared for a style ahead of time, and that's good. But they're afraid that if they see a guy on tape, they might have one thing in their mind that they're going to do, and if it doesn't work that particular night, they get trapped. They can't get out of it. They'd rather just see him that night and make adjustments.
Straight left hand from Toledo. Hey, how do you have this fight scored through 8 rounds?
Right now, I have it 77-76 for the challenger.
Okay, here we go.
Toledo.
You have one even round in there, right?
Yes, I do.
I have it 76 all. You go a point either way, probably.
The rounds where Toledo has controlled the outside with moving his hands and turning Botile, he's been able to win. The rounds where Botile has been able to close gaps, he's carried. Definitely a style fight. Contrasting styles. We said right from the beginning that the size of the ring would be good for Toledo. It has been.
Well, we hit the end of round number 9. Very close fight. Teddy and I have it within a point either way. Let's find out how Brian and Max have it scored.
I tell you, this is tough round by round. This is interesting, high-level stuff. I have Toledo ahead, but barely so far.
Actually, I hate to say it. It sounds like I'm in the crowd there, but I have it Toledo by a point right now. Botile is winning rounds by more obvious margins. When Botile wins a round, it looks like he's starting to beat Toledo up, and he's coming on, and the end of the fight is near. But Toledo is squeaking through with more of those rounds. And the real thing to ask yourself when you're watching this fight, who would you rather be at the end of the round? Who would you rather been that last round, the round before? That'll tell you really who's winning these rounds. And in the slight majority of them, I would have rather been Toledo.
Well, guys, I think you're right on the mark. This is razor thin either way, no matter how you look at it. As you said, the numbers favor Botile. If you just looked at the numbers, but if you look at the individual rounds, as Brian and Max pointed out, the rounds that Botile's won, he's won fairly convincingly. Round number 10 underway. You know, we wanted to talk with Kerry Stotts. He's one of the co-trainers of Botile. Just like we talked to Frankie Sr. in Toledo's corner. He didn't want to come on. They feel in the Botile camp that they're losing the fight. That's the word we got. They feel that they're in some trouble in their camp. Some loose tape. They'll get that squared away. They're not happy. They feel, and I've looked over at Cedric Kushner, the promoter of Botile. He's been kind of animated toward Botile in between at the end of a round. He'll throw more punches, get busier. You wonder if there is a lingering effect of the ankle situation. I mean, that desire to just dig in there and get in there and maybe throw a punch that you know might just rock this other guy.
You asked me that question at the top when we were doing the first fight of the night. We were just highlighting this fight. You brought that up. That could be the biggest opponent for the champion Botile. Last time he was in a ring, he won a title against a real game. Terrific poor Angle. Left Angle in a coma. Thank God Angle has recovered from that and is slowly recovering from that injury. But that affects a man. And that might be one of the reasons why Botile is not as aggressive as you usually would think you would see him with the style he has.
You know, and it's interesting because, you know, we saw Frankie Toledo and how emotional he was. You have Toledo ahead by 2, I have him ahead by 1. And Botile is just an emotional young man. When we talked about the Eagles situation, very emotional.
Bob, there's been precedents in the past with great fighters, champions, that have been in an unfortunate situation of having a tragedy in the ring, and it's affected some. Some it hasn't, some it has. Emil Griffith versus Kid Perret. His KO percentage for Emil Griffith after that tragic fight dropped a lot. Ezra Charles versus Sam Baruti.
Toledo.
A lot of people say Ezra Charles was never quite as tenacious, even though he was a great fighter. Sugar Ramos versus Davey Moore. Davey Moore perished in the ring after that fight. Sugar Ramos lost his title right after that.
All right, don't pull
So some it does affect.
Ray Mancini, Dr. Kim.
Yes.
Tell you what, Toledo is feeling more confident He's on his toes. He's moving. He had problems in some of those rounds earlier in the fight, but he's on his toes. He's sticking. He's moving. He's not going straight back, Teddy, and he's not languishing to the inside. And Botile is now having a hard time of sort of tracking him.
What you're saying is Frank Toledo has a good game plan, a good fight plan. He's following it. Like a football team, mixing up the run, mixing up the pass. Like a basketball team that might be in with a bigger team, a stronger team. But they got the right plan, shooting from the perimeter.
Is Frankie Toledo 6 minutes away from the title?
Put that on this fight there.
Mbulelo Botile, let's listen into his corner.
You've got 3 minutes. There's a new champion if you don't get off his stool.
It's 11th time,
All right, there you go. There's obvious concern in the corner of Botile.
I believe they may have been a little excited there, if I heard it right, and gave the wrong round information to Botile. I believe they said you got 3 minutes left.
Got 6.
Yes, he does.
Take a look at the punch numbers through 10. And again, Botile with the edge as far as the amount thrown, the amount landed. But he was very heavy in certain rounds. Like, for instance, round 5, Botile outlanded Toledo 51-13. So there your numbers are skewed. He threw 115 punches to Toledo's 56. So you have a couple of rounds 3, 4, and 5, where Botile clearly won the rounds with big numbers. But if you kind of average it out, you know, you can make the case that Toledo is winning this fight. I have him ahead by 2, Teddy.
Exactly what I know. Sorry. I have Toledo ahead by 3. I can see 2, though. Either way, close.
You know, the old, if you throw out the high and the low, over the balance of the fight, you can make the case that Toledo is winning this fight.
Yes, you can. And he's definitely, you don't have any argument that he's fighting the right fight. Came in here with the right plan. So far, he's executing.
Botile has never been able to sustain that body attack. That makes him so tough. Toledo sticks and moves, he gets out.
Being smart, Toledo, taking what's given him. Letting the aggressive champion come in. Toledo's counter-punching, getting out. Not waiting around for a receipt.
Remember, all the judges are from the West Coast, 2 from California, and 1 from Las Vegas. Toledo, an East Coast kid. Botile from South Africa.
How much of it is the talent, and a lot of it is. Let's take nothing away from this young kid, Toledo. Doing a great job challenging here, but how much of it is his talent, his style, and how much of it is, as you mentioned, Botile having a little bit of remnants of the last time he was in the ring and almost had a tragedy. Maybe a little bit less aggressive because of that. Either way, Toledo's doing what he's got to do.
Toledo almost got tagged going straight back. There's some long faces in the Botile corner. And I don't think he's losing by that much, Teddy. I mean, you can make a case for a couple other rounds in there if you flip them. I'm sure there's a few people that could have Botile ahead. I don't think it's that lopsided. But
the reason it's exaggerated in their minds, maybe, Bob, and you make a good point, picking up on that, is because they don't see their man doing what they're used to seeing him do.
They've seen him much better. Of course, he's a former bantamweight champion with 5 defenses. And now the featherweight champion. There's the bell to end round 11. A confident Frankie Toledo back to his corner. Botile searching for answers. Teddy had a chance to ask Toledo what it might be like to raise his hand in victory.
Your arm is raised tomorrow night. Have you given any thought what's going to rush through your mind and your body? What feelings?
I have to say my parents, because they've been through everything.
It's emotional. You're getting emotional just thinking about it, right?
Yeah, I'm an emotional person, you know, I cry. But it's hard, you know, we work too hard to turn back now. It's a feeling that I've been waiting all my life. For them to say the new IBF world champion.
Teddy, in each of the last 6 rounds, Boutile's punch output has dropped. In round 5, he threw 115 punches, and in this last round, round 11, he threw only 40.
The long trip, South Africa, I tell you all the time, Bob, takes 2 weeks to acclimate to that from that trip. Not a week, not 9 days, not 10 days, maybe. Also the style, the fight plan of Toledo.
Boutile has 2 late knockouts in his career. Of course, he stopped Ingle in the 12th round to win this featherweight title. And he defended his bantamweight title, knocking out Ansi Gideon in the 11th round. So he has late power. Toledo cannot get careless.
It's one thing to have power, but you have to have the situation, the opportunity to land it. And the opportunity to land it will be presented in 2 ways by Toledo if he gives that opportunity to Boutile. Otherwise, Boutile's not going to land it. And those opportunities that Toledo has to be careful of is not to step straight back and not to stay inside exchanging 1 punch too long. Not to get time.
Does the champion need a knockout to keep his title? Or maybe a knockdown in a 10-8 round to keep his title?
What does the challenger need to get the title? To not get careless this round. But keep doing what he's doing.
Right, but to keep doing what he was doing, not what De La Hoya did against Trinidad late in his fight.
Very true. Don't just start moving. Don't go into the prevent defense. Then the team will come right down the field. In this case, Boutile will walk right in. Keep punching and moving. No prevent defense. The only thing prevent defense does, you know what it is, right, Bob?
Yeah, prevents you from winning.
You're the multi-sport man. The voice of the New York Giants radio, New Jersey Nets basketball.
Well, Frankie Toledo would like to bring a championship back to New Jersey. Is he 1 minute away from winning the IBF featherweight title? Good jab there by Toledo. He's hanging in there against the champion.
Applaud Toledo. Up to this moment, he's fought the right fight with the right spirit. That right hook from the southpaw, very effective against an orthodox fighter. Is not used to seeing that punch.
Boutile's corner has been complaining about that all night to the champion. He's getting you with that right hook all the time.
That's the one with the southpaw. Usually with an orthodox fighter, the orthodox fighter doesn't see that punch. Usually that punch is coming from further back.
Toledo's feeling confident. Boutile's reign as a featherweight champion might be brief. Frankie Toledo.
Toledo knows he's won.
Well, I would wait after what we've seen the last couple of weeks. There's the bell. They both think they've won. But does Boutile actually believe it? Frankie Toledo has been raised by his corner. Will he raise a championship belt? The judges' cards after this timeout. Final punch numbers. How about this? In round 5, Boutile landed 45 punches. In the last 5 rounds, Boutile only landed a total of 43 punches. Teddy Atlas's scorecard. 117-112 for the challenger. I had it 116-102. For the official cards, Mark Biro.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a unanimous decision. Judge Pat Russell scores the bout 117-111. Judge Dave Moretti sees it 118-110. And Judge Robert Bird scores it 119-109 to the winner by unanimous decision and IBF featherweight champion of the world, Frankie the Shark Toledo.
A journey that started at Ice World in Totowa at the age of 8. 23 years later, a dream has been lived out for the Frank Toledo family. Frankie Toledo and his dad embrace. He is the new IBF featherweight champion of the world.
A lot of tears, a lot of happiness.
And he puts on the belt. What a moment it has to be for Frankie Toledo. A unanimous decision against Mbulelo Botile. What a performance by the challenger. Congratulations to both men, especially to Frankie Toledo, the new champion. He earned it tonight. Here's Brian and Max.
The victory well deserved. I've been watching Frankie and his brother David fight for years. David used to come up to Catskill all the time. Strong professional work ethic by these guys. It's good to see the decision go the right way. Botile was right there, though. I was surprised by how lopsided those scores were.
It's funny, I said at the top of the show, you never see the close decision go to the non-money guy. It always goes to the money guy. Never. I can't remember. And then it goes to the non-money guy, Toledo. But let's be honest here. This wasn't that close. The range of scores could have been anywhere from, I agree, 9-3 to 7-5, favoring Toledo. And it's nice to see the right guy get the decision. If this would have been a ripoff, it would have been hard to swallow after last week. And you know what? Last 3 weeks on Friday Night Fights, Bones Adams, Paulie Ayala, and Botile, all three of them, the titles were hanging in the balance going into the last rounds. Very exciting stuff. Botile, one of the best under 126, as long as you're coming right at him.
All right. Meantime, we're not going to be here next week for Friday Night Fights, so just want to get this in. We're going to have Holmes and Hopkins, the real middleweight champion, Bernard Hopkins. How do you see that fight going in another week?
I think it's the best contender he's fought throughout his title reign, Hopkins. I think he's going to win, but I think it's going to be an excellent fight. And for any of you who can actually get there to Madison Square Garden to watch the real middleweight champion take on a strong contender, I suggest you do it. I'll be there.
That'll do it. For Max Kellerman, Bob and Teddy, I'm Brian Kenny. We'll see you again in 2 weeks right here on Friday Night Fights. Bye-bye, everybody.
This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com.